A bottle of wine contains more philosophy than all the books in the world. Whatever your career may be, do not let yourselves become tainted by a deprecating and barren skepticism. Do not let yourselves be discouraged by the sadness of certain hours which pass over nations. Live in the serene peace of laboratories and libraries. Say to yourselves first, "What have I done for my instruction?" And as you gradually advance, "What have I done for my country?" Until the time comes when you may have the immense happiness of thinking that you have contributed in some way to the progress and to the good of humanity. But whether our efforts are or are not favored by life, let us be able to say, when we come near the great goal, "I have done what I could." To know how to wonder and question is the first step of the mind toward discovery. Chance favors the prepared mind. It is not the germs we need worry about. It is our inner terrain. The more I study nature, the more I stand amazed at the work of the Creator. When I approach a child, he inspires in me two sentiments: tenderness for what he is, and respect for what he may become. There are two men in each one of us: the scientist, he who starts with a clear field and desires to rise to the knowledge of nature through observations, experimentation, and reasoning, and the man of sentiment, the man of belief, the man who mourns his dead children, and who cannot, alas, prove that he will see them again, but who believes that he will, and lives in the hope, the man who will not die, like a vibrio, but who feels that the force that is within him cannot die. A bit of science distances one from God, but much science nears one to Him. I am utterly convinced that science and peace will triumph over ignorance and war, that nations will eventually unite, not to destroy, but to edify, and that the future will belong to those who have done the most for the sake of suffering humanity. There is no such thing as a special category of science called applied science. There is science and its applications, which are related to one another, as the fruit is related to the tree that has borne it. The ancients understood the omnipotence of the underside of things. Happy is he who bears a God within and who obeys it. The grandeur of human actions is measured by the inspiration from which they spring. I am on the verge of mysteries, and the veil which covers them is getting thinner and thinner. The night seems to me too long. Life as manifested to us is a function of the asymmetry of the universe. The universe is asymmetrical, for if all the bodies in motion which compose the solar system were placed before a glass, the image in it could not be superimposed upon the reality. Terrestrial magnetism, the opposition between positive and negative electricity, are but resultants of asymmetrical actions and movements. Life is dominated by asymmetrical actions. I can even imagine that all living species are primordially in their structure, in their external forms, functions of cosmic asymmetry. One does not ask of one who suffers, "What is your country and what is your religion?" One merely says, "You suffer. That is enough for me." The greatest derangement of the mind is to believe in something because one wishes it to be so. Life comes only from life. If it is a terrifying thought that life is at the mercy of the multiplication of these minute bodies, it is a consoling hope that science will not always remain powerless before such enemies. Let me tell you the secret that has led me to my goal. My strength lies solely in my tenacity. The idea of God is a form of the idea of the infinite. As long as the mystery of the infinite weighs on human thought, temples will be erected for the worship of the infinite, whether God be called Brahma, Allah, Jehovah, or Jesus. And on the pavement of those temples, men will be seen kneeling, prostrate, annihilated, in the thought of the infinite. At these supreme moments, there is something in the depths of our souls which tells us that the world may be more than a mere continuation of phenomena proper to a mechanical equilibrium brought out of the chaos of the elements through the gradual action of the forces of matter. The role of the infinitely small in nature is infinitely great. Science knows no country, because knowledge belongs to humanity, and is the torch which illuminates the world. Science is the highest personification of the nation, because that nation will remain the first which carries the furthest the works of thought and intelligence.